Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your girl, Pretty Sexy Driver Brand, aka Sonic Assassin. And of course, we're coming back for another review of season 16's Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is titled Frack is Back. Baby, and from this title, I already know it's going to be interesting and it's going to definitely be the tea and the vibes. Um, Assassin family, I just want to thank y'all for showing love and showing support over here and helping the channel grow. Thank y'all for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing my videos, passing along information, making sure your girl gets out there and gets known and seen. But most importantly, just showing up and showing support and watching the reviews. I thank y'all so very much. As always, I want to shout out and give big thanks to my assassins. And you guys, let's keep getting the channel to grow. Let's keep getting the numbers and the viewership out there. And, you know, if you'd like to support and help donate to the channel, there'll be a link down at the bottom and you can. But yes, let's get into season 16, episode 12. Frank is back on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Baby, we finna see what is the T in the A, okay? Per. So yes, y'all. As we get into our opening scene, it is our girl Shamia. We are at her house, and she is by the pool in her backyard. And baby, she is, got the Dior on, looking real good, body out. And baby, the next thing you know, our girl gets a phone call, and it is our girl Kelly letting her know she's at the front door, and she's telling Kelly, just follow the sound of my voice and come around, girl. Just follow the sound of my voice. And baby, our girl comes over with the girls out in all pink serving body. And of course, she got a bottle in her hand. And her and Shamia are catching up. And she says, hey, best friend. And I'm like, girl, I thought Portia was your best friend. But Shamia explains why she kills her best friend. And baby, the ladies hug and pop bottles by the pool. And then they sit down and they get into the tea. And Kels tells Shamia that she wants to plan a trip because it's just been a lot going on. It's been a lot happening. And baby, the girls need a getaway. And she was like, I would like for you to host it with me. And she was like, we're gonna go to the Caribbean. And she was like, can you guess where? And baby, Shamia was guessing and guessing and guessing and guessing, and she just never got it. But Kels finally told her, and the ladies are excited, and it just seems like it's gonna be good vibes, good energy, and of course, the ladies make plans before they get there to help give back because come to find out where they were going is heavily impacted by a storm that came and did a lot of damage to the island. So it's also going to be a give back. And I think that's very beautiful to see, the ladies helping and doing something very positive. As we go from that scene to our next scene, baby, it is our girl, Miss Portia. And y'all know Miss Portia is still going through her divorce and trial of separation right now from her ex husband. But Portia is looking for her currently a house because right now she is not allowed to film in their home. And baby, the houses that Miss Portia is looking at, baby, are giving grandiose teas. Like, baby, it's a vibe. And of course, her mom and her sister are with her, and they're walking around and they're looking. And while they're looking, the realtor makes a joke about, getting pampered by Portia hair. And baby, she's like, and he was like, what style you think I should wear? What you think I should do? And of course they make jokes and laugh, but also, while they're walking around, Portia goes and sits down with her sister, and they have a moment to chat and talk and catch up and just discuss everything that's been going on, what's been happening, and what's been going on in the blogs about her divorce and why she's having to make this move and these decisions and changes. Baby, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, I see you season 16. But y'all, as we go from that scene to our next scene. So yes, y'all. As we get into our next scene, baby, we see Kels getting a massage. Her and her dog and her daughter, they're having a spa day. And baby, as they get rubbed down, we go from that scene to seeing our girl Miss Shamia at the radio station at V103. And baby, Miss Shamia is there as an artist, and baby, she's promoting her single and her music. And baby, our girl is just living her life and having a moment. And of course, she's enjoying it. And well, of course, while she's in the radio station, she has spilled some tea that, another one of her castmates has also recently released a project. And she was like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." She's like, "I never heard it here. I never heard it on this radio station." Very much so the shade. And I'm like, "Shamia, what's T-Ball?" But it's all laughs, giggles, and we find out, which we have already known since episode one, that music was Shamia's first love, and for her to just be chasing her dream and doing what she wants to do is a very beautiful thing. But y'all, as we go from that scene to our next scene, it is the beautiful Miss Britt Edie, and y'all, it's her and her husband, and we find out about Britt's venture outside of her insurance and it is called Bare Naked, and she likes to host an event at a country club for the ladies to attend, to come in and see her shapewear and bodywear. She said because when her and her team, you know, hit a mark at her agency, they all went and had surgery and they all had to wear body and shapewear after the fact. And she said, she wants to make something for the girls after they've gone to get what they needed done. And her husband is in full support and just loving on her, and it's very beautiful to see. But y'all, as we go from that scene to our next scene, it is Miss Angela Oakley and her husband and baby. They are looking at one of their properties that they have been investing in and putting the work into. And baby, they're looking at, the house and what all has been done. And also they're looking at, the house has not been taken off the market, so they've had to lower the price to it. And Miss Angela says she knows it's not ideal and it does not, make Charles happy, but she doesn't like that. And, she's having a very honest and vulnerable moment with her husband and sharing with him, she wants things to get better. She doesn't want this to continue like this because they've already invested so much. And she says she just doesn't want to fail him. And I can completely understand that because as a wife, you doing what you want, but also doing what you were had plans to help the family grow, and things happen. And then also she shares with him about the conversation that she had with her mom and the talk that she had, and where their relationship is now and how it has been set since that conversation and moving forward. Y'all, the Real Housewives are really giving the tea. They really giving the show, and they definitely giving the vibes. And I'm loving seeing, just her coming, giving the girls support. And Shamia walks up, and the ladies are dressed from head to toe, and they're like, "Britt, so what we gonna be doing? What's the plan? What's the move?" And Rick said, "Well, I had plans for us to, have drinks outside at the bar, play a few rounds of golf at the country club, just have a little fun before the events get started." And everybody is dressed up like they got on the best of the best, baby. Ladies got on heels, and Miss Britta's like, things are running a little behind, but she said, "Y'all, we can go get on our carts and we can go play a few rounds of golf." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am. That's how you do it. That's how you serve it up. Go ahead, Miss Britt." So of course, while the ladies are out on the course, trying to golf, it then starts to rain, but the ladies are having fun. They're having themselves a good time. they're making very light of this whole situation in support of Brit. And baby, then our guests start to arrive, and then we have our girl Miss Portia, and we see Miss Portia talking with her sister. We see Miss Drew come up, and then baby, of course, our girl Miss Angela comes through, and baby, everybody's outside. They're having drinks, sharing glasses. Of course, we catching up and we getting into the vibe and the tea of things and the situations because it has been a minute since all the ladies have seen each other. The ladies are very much so looking at Brit event and they're just like trying to see what's going on and what's happening. And then of course as the ladies go back in and sit down, the tables are set, and baby, our girl Miss Cynthia comes in, and baby, the plates are being set, the ladies are eating, and having a good time. And of course, while we're at the table, things are being talked about and discussed and spilled. And, some sidebar conversations between Miss Shamia and Portia. And baby, after we see the little sidebar, our girl Britt, she gets up and Britt tells us about her product, what made her come about with her venture for Bare Naked, and just how she came up with this idea. And she just thanks everyone for coming out in support of her. And of course, she hands the ladies their Bare Naked body wear, and she shows a promotion video of her wearing the body wear and the shapewear. And I think it's very good because, hey, the best way to see my product is see it on me. And if you can't see it on me, baby, I mean, why not? Why you gonna get it? I'm showing you so you can support. And she gives a very good detailed presentation. And she tells the ladies how it helps and pulls everything in. And it's just the vibe. It's just the mood. It's just the energy. But the ladies, like I said, are just still sitting at this table after Miss Britt has given this presentation. They're all sitting down and they're talking. And then, baby, you know, Miss Angela gets the ball to rolling, and her and Portia get to having a conversation across the table from each other. And baby, it's just interesting tease. And then Brit is brought along in the conversation. And let's just say it gets very um sticky because Brit is sharing and expressing and telling the group, her piece and her thoughts. So then our girl Miss Brit moves down to the end of the table where Miss Angela is, and they sit down, and baby, Brit and Miss Angela get into this conversation, and they start talking, and Miss Angela just goes and opens up and says, Charles does not have a side, baby, and baby, everybody say was looking, trying to gag, trying to figure out, like, wait a minute. Girl, what she just said, oh my God. Portia was like, baby, let me clutch my pearls. And Brit explains, what was going on, what happened. They were having a back and forth, and she only said because that's what she had heard, baby. And everybody at the table is gagging because they is really looking at it like this happened. And Miss Angela is like, well, I'm just saying I want to clear my man's name, and he's here, and I want to help make sure it get clear. And then it goes from between Brittany and Miss Angela to Britt and Drew, and they have an exchange of words. But then not only did they have an exchange of words, Kelly jumps in, and baby, it's like, baby, we can't believe nothing Drew said because Drew's a liar. Basically, was what Kelly is saying because she says Drew's lied before, and even Shamia says, "Yeah, Drew's known for lying. So, can we really believe anything that comes out of Drew's mouth, baby?" And I'm just looking at like, wait, where's all this smoke coming from? Where's all this tea? And you see Miss Angela and Drew like rocking side by side and it just good locking with each other. And then y'all, while we was at the table, we get into about when Shamia went back and told Portia about what Drew said at the studio. And baby, why is we getting to that? Because now it is going to be a whole moment because Drew said she doesn't like the way it was taken back to Portia. And she also says, you always taking things back to Portia like you her little lapdog, like you always trying to go back and tell everybody what she had to say. And Shamia like, who you calling a lapdog? And baby, the next thing you know, Miss Bree, even the ladies is getting real ugly. The reads is getting real shady. Baby, Shamia then started barking at the table. She said, I'm a lap dog. Girl, she said, you can go fetch a mouth. And baby, it is just very unbecoming. I'm just looking like, Shamia, what is going on? That's not what, wait, what's going on, baby? This is not what we're supposed to be doing with you and Drew. I mean, I knew it was a moment, but I didn't know it was gonna be like this. And then Britt comes and walks up and she says, wait, hold on, ladies. We're not doing this here. We're at a country club. We have style, we have class. We cannot be doing this at this event. This is not what this is for. This is what this is not about. And baby, the next thing you know, after that, Miss Cynthia gets up and leaves. Miss Cynthia says this is not what she came there for. She did not come there for that. She did not come there for that type of drama. She said, or to be in there at that type of event. She said she thought it was coming for good spaces and good places. And Miss Cynthia gets up and leaves, and everybody starts to look at the table, and other people start to leave, and the guests are still looking around. Baby, as we go from that scene to our next scene, baby, it is signing day for our girl Drew with Dennis and the management company and his label. We have bottles, we have champagne, and baby, Miss Drew says Dennis is not gonna be there today, but she is gonna do her paperwork and she's going to sign. And she says she's glad that they are at this point and at this place. And then she says while she's there in the office talking to the man who is also helping Dennis with her project, if she can like speak to him because she needs to talk to him. And he was like, well, you want to FaceTime him? And she was like, yes, because now she's trying to FaceTime him because of some information that was taken back. And she's trying to, clarify his name and get things clear on her end about her name because it has become a very messy and sticky situation. And she doesn't like what's being said and how it's being said and what's being handled. And she's asking him about it. And he says, that's not true. I would never do anything like that. And baby, positive in the streets of Atlanta. And of course, our girl, Miss Phaedra, gives us a rundown of who she knows in the group and who she's familiar with. And then she says and shares with Portia, she didn't even know Charles was married. Baby, she done came up with the names. She done came in already with it. It is nice to see a return of an OG. What they do, Miss Phaedra. And baby, this is finna be some teas. Freaking frack are back, baby. Assassins, it's been your girl, Pretty Sexy Jar the Brand, aka Sonic Assassin. Baby, until next time, y'all be safe. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, be safe out there. We out.